Alright, what's up? Today I'm going to be working on my 97 Mustang, and today we're going to put some brake pads and rotors for the front wheels. I'm excited. This is the ones I got, some Duralast Gold. You don't need many tools. I'm just going to use a couple hand tools, a torque wrench, a couple sockets, a torque socket. But there is a special brake caliper piston tool, so you got to chalk off the rear wheels. That's the first step. Chalk off both rear wheels and get the wheel off. So I'm using a breaker bar. Breaker bar is a great tool. You want to find a safe place to jack up the car. It could be, there's many places. It could be a little hard sometimes, but it's usually anything solid and anything hard. Some good spots could be the frame rail or just a part of the suspension too. I like to get the wheels underneath the car. It's an extra safety measure. Safety is very important when you're working underneath the car. Do not overlook this step. And make sure you use jack stands and never leave the car on the jack by itself. You always use jack stands, always have extra safety. I'm going to press up with the jack stand. Right now the car's too hot to work on, so I'm going to just use some cold water to get it nice and cool. You don't have to do this if you don't need to. But first thing is to get a 15mm socket. I used a deep one. And get the caliper bolts off. There's two of them. They're right behind the caliper. They are what hold the caliper onto the wheels. So you want to take those two off. It's only two. They're not going to be that hard to take off. You can see right now I'm loosening it. What I did is I went ahead and turned the wheel to the right side so that I could be working with the wheel. So I have a T50 Torx bit, and I'm going to be taking out the retainer pin on the caliper. It's many models have different types of caliper pins. This one you use one on the bottom. You take that one off and you're able to open up the whole caliper. Sometimes you have to take out both, but once you take them out, you can easily just pop out the brake pads. They come right out and you can see the way they're oriented, so make sure you just keep them that same way. So what I did is took off the caliper and I put it up on top of here. It's a good spot. Make sure you're really careful not to pinch the brake line. But I just took out the rotor. It slides out. It might not be that easy. Now, factory, these come with a film on the rotor so they don't rust in the packaging in the shipment. So what I did is I sprayed some brake cleaner and just got it nice and cleaned up, and it slides right on. If you have trouble taking it off, maybe try to take a little hammer to it, but be careful. What I did is I put some lug nuts to keep it in place. And right now I'm just caking the old brake caliper retainer, the holder, in brake cleaner because it's going to be dirty. I don't want to contaminate the new pads. So I'm using medium strength thread locker because you can't see it, but there was some already on it. So I'm using medium strength thread locker on it. So we're going to put the two caliper bolts back where they belong. I'm going to torque it down to about 83 foot-pounds. Here they click. And good. So right here was me using the brake caliper piston tool. It's basically I'm pushing in the brake caliper piston so I can evenly surface the new brake pad. This is some of the brake hardware. You see the way it's oriented right here is the way we're going to reorient it when we put the new one in. So remember that. Alright, next up is to put some brake lubricant in all of the friction points. This is basically just where the brake pads are going to sit, and there's going to be a lot of friction. You don't want that metal to metal contact. Also on the back side of the brake pads, you want to put a lot of anti-seize or brake lubricant, copper-based anti-seize. We got it torqued to 30 foot-pounds. Now the rest thing to do is do the other wheels, put the wheels back on, put the car back on the ground. And when you get inside, you're going to make sure you want to press the brake pedal a lot of times. It's going to feel soft at first, but then it'll firm up really nice. And that's about it. Enjoy.